Good evening and welcome to episode 4 of What You've Been Listening to Lately. This is a great episode tonight. I'm joined by Chelle and Amy, two of the class of '89 from GHS. So welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And just so people know, this is the first time I've seen Amy and probably the first time she's seen me in quite a while. So this is
Me too. We've been chatting a lot lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So what you've been listening to lately when I envisioned this, I thought of music, but it doesn't have to be music because a lot of people listen to other things besides music. So why don't we start with Amy? Is that okay, Amy?
Yeah, that's great.
What's the first thing that you've been listening to lately?
I'll come back to my books, but I do listen to a lot of books.
Okay.
And just a little bit about my music. My son, who's on a mission right now, was very into music. And so years and years, pretty much that's all we listened to was his. Mm-hmm. And he listened to a huge range. He's a jazz musician, but he listened to everything. So not until recently, probably in the last couple of months, I'm like, oh, I like this music. Because I was never, it was always his music. We always listened to his. But anyway, so just going back to some of the stuff we had in high school, like Depeche Mode and Erasure and The Cure. I still listen to some of that.
Yes.
I did go to several concerts,
mm-hmm.
But yeah, good time with that. Another one that my husband and I'll probably always listen to is U2.
Very good. My favorite.
We got to go see them in Vegas at the Sphere, and it was really cool.
Okay.
So
So lately, can you name any specific song or anything?
I know lately, and to me, it's not necessarily songs that I listen to. I have a couple out there, but most of stuff is I find an artist that I like, and then just on Spotify, you can listen to their radio
right.
Other artists the same way. But I like a lot of kind of DJ kind of music, club music, but it's all DJs, professional DJs, but I like a lot of that. But one that I have listened to, what was that?
Doing some dancing while you're baking?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps me going when I need it. But one recently is called Lost Frequencies, and I have just discovered him, and he's actually coming to Utah at the end of the month. So we're going to go see him, but really like him and all of his songs. So like I said, it's not necessarily songs that I always come back to. It's more the artist. So that's an artist that I really like lately. Okay.
So Lost Frequencies is the name of a DJ?
Uh-huh. He is not. No.
It's
a band. Yeah.
Band. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know if it's considered like EDM or?
Probably. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think a lot of people go for that. So
yeah.
All right. Chelle, what have you been listening to lately?
So I think Amy was kind of going down the same line that I do. Is I hear a new song or new artist and I get hyper fixated on it.
Mm-hmm.
I stay listening to it forever until I get sick of it and can't listen to it anymore. But the latest one, and I mentioned this in my Gimme Grace podcast, was Bob Marley.
Haven't seen yet.
Yeah, when I was coming home from Salt Lake, I watched One Love on the plane, and I've heard his music before and loved it, but I love that genre of movie where it takes an artist and takes you through their lives, and it's usually like a very troubled life, but they're very, very talented. One Love was incredible. Mm-hmm. It was basically about his rise to fame in the 70s, and Jamaica was going through a bunch of country turmoil, inner turmoil, almost a civil war. And he was just trying to preach peace and love and kindness. And he was getting ready to do a peace concert, and a gang come in and shot him and his wife and some of their band members. And so the peace concert didn't happen. And it just was, he was trying to preach peace, and the juxtaposition of what was going on in the country was very, very interesting. And so he was worried about his wife and his kids, so he sent them to the U.S. He went to London to tour, and really exploded in London and became very, very popular. He preaches about being a good person. A lot of his songs are about being a good person, and I think he was, because he had a good heart, but he wasn't very loyal to his wife. He has, I don't know how many kids he has, but only a few of them with his wife. So it's kind of interesting from that perspective. But when he comes back to Jamaica, he's actually able to do the peace concert, and he calls it One Love, which is also the name of the movie and one of his songs. And then unfortunately he had so weird, had a toenail infection from playing soccer. They call it football. And he went in to get that checked up, and they diagnosed him with a rare form of skin cancer. And he just opted not to do any treatment. So he died very, very young, 1978. So, and I heard somewhere just recently that his sons were getting ready to do kind of like a legacy tour.
Okay.
And digging, trying to find information about it, but I haven't been able to pick anything up yet. He will be 80 next year, so that's, I think, where they're trying to do that tour. But probably my favorite song of Bob Marley's is Three Little Birds.
Yeah, I need to watch that movie too.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like Bohemian Rhapsody. That was a great one. Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Oh, Man was really good. Any of those. And there was one about Elvis on, I can't remember what streaming channel, but it wasn't quite as good. But I definitely love that genre.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Amy, back to you, but I do want to ask you, when you watched U2 in Vegas, was there a certain song that resonated with you, like from that concert, or there's just the whole thing was good?
The whole thing was awesome, but what is it? The Street with No Name, or The Street Has No Name? Yeah. They did that one, and is what they did. They showed the street out, like a street out in Vegas, and then they went out and they showed. I mean, they went out in the desert. I mean, just concerts are incredible, but there it's just fun because they can do so much with the background. I mean, you feel like you're out in the desert with them. So that was really cool. So that was a really good one.
I had to ask that. Now go ahead and tell us the second thing you've been listening to lately.
Trying to think. Let me go back to any more music to see if yeah, just a lot of it is just I mean, it's a lot of different music, but we another one that I really like is I just found there's another one that's called Zoo that I really like, ZHU.
ZHU.
Yeah.
Oh. It's a band?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. So
do you know what genre or why you like that, or?
It's another one that's got really good beats to it. It's an EDM. So that one, a lot of that is really good. Another one that I do like, I went to this concert with my son, was Mumford and Sons.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I never thought I'd like them, but their concert was really, really good. And I mean, I've always liked their music, but to see them, yeah, that was a great, I really like their music too.
Yeah.
So they toured with U2 back in 2017 for quite a while, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That'd be good.
Yeah. And this one I got to see him with Portugal the Man, which I love too. And that was,
That's cool that you still get into new music too. You're not like me, like stuck in.
No, I like a lot of new stuff. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Chelle?
I just asked her where that concert was.
Oh yeah.
Here in Salt Lake. So it was out at out west.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the venue, but yeah, it was a big one. So
fun.
Yeah. All right, back to Chelle.
Okay, I'm gonna switch away from music and go to a podcast.
Okay.
My latest hyperfixation on podcast is called Hidden, a true crime podcast. So I'm definitely, if it's not The Moth, I'm listening to true crime, but this is a husband and wife duo. The guy's name is Dr. John Matheson. He's a forensic psychologist. So he does a lot of, when there's a a criminal who they're considering releasing back into society. He interviews them and see if it's safe to do so. And then his wife, Lauren Matthias, is an investigative journalist. And so they pick like a crime that's in the news and they just dig into it really deep. Like the latest one that they did, or not the latest, one of the most recent ones that I've been listening to was the Chad Daybell and Lori Val Daybell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I heard bits and pieces of it because she lived in Arizona for a little bit. So I heard about it on the news, but listening to this in depth, it is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Amy, did you know which one I'm talking about?
No, I don't know if I know anything about it. No.
Sure that you saw it, and it might just not have connected, but Lori Daybell had 2 kids that basically went missing. She said that they weren't missing, that they were with an aunt or a friend or a grandparent, but everyone's like, where are the kids? Mm-hmm. And the police finally issued her a summons. You got to produce your children in the next 24 hours. And she couldn't because they had killed them.
Yeah.
And they had killed his first wife, and she had had her husband killed. They got married, killed the 2 kids, like JJ and Tylee, I think was her name, something like that. But the girl was 15 or 16 and the little boy was 10 or 11. And this podcast goes into great detail of what they did to those 4 kids. And it's so, as I'm saying it out loud, like, why do I listen to that stuff?
I was going to ask you what makes you listen to true crime stuff. It's just interesting, huh?
Yeah, there's just the study in human nature and how do they go to sleep at night?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. You probably don't say, hey, you know what, tomorrow let's go and do all these things. It's just like day by day, things just get wilder and wilder until it's cuckoo clock crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think that they had convinced themselves, they had this dark and light ranking system on people's souls, whether they were light or dark. And they deemed these kids dark, very dark on their scale. So they had to get rid of them.
Oh,
yeah. That is
wow.
It is nice. October. It's kind of scary, right? That there are people like that out there.
Hopefully, back up, Amy.
What's that?
Hopefully,
she's gonna put some EDM movie.
Yeah, we're gonna get this back up.
Bring the beats back out. All right, let's segue back to Amy then.
Okay.
We'll come back to Rochelle's craziness.
I know, crazy. Yeah. So I'm going to go to books now because that is where I spend most of my time. So I am a sucker for any World War II book.
Ooh,
interesting.
So fiction and nonfiction both, but a lot of fiction that are, that's based on truth, but I am anything like that. I just love.
Okay.
So
any specific favorite author of that genre?
There is a couple. There's one that Jennifer Robson I like. There's a lot. Mark Sullivan. I did read The Tattooist of Auschwitz. Loved that. I've read all those. There's another one that's I don't love them, but there's something to them that just to see what people have lived through and survived and moved on and had a life beyond that. And you can see why they never talk about it, which is, because it's the horrific things that they went through. Mm-hmm. But I don't even remember who it was, but years ago when we first moved to Park City, we had a survivor of the Holocaust that came and spoke, and just, ever since I have fallen in love with it. And that's pretty much all I read lately. I mean, I'll throw in a couple other books here and there, but those are by far my favorite. Yeah.
Good.
Wow. I looked up The Tattooist as soon as Kathy brought that up. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to add that to my list. It sounds amazing. So my next one, I'm going to books also. I have a subscription to Kindle Unlimited, which is kind of like a library card through Prime. Mm-hmm. You can any book that you want and read it on your Kindle. But I always do a search for read and listen for free, because then I can, and I'm driving back and forth to work, I can listen to.
Yeah.
And my latest obsession for books is Kendra Elliott. And she has, I think there's like 21 different books. There's 4 different series, but each of them have like 4 or 5 books in the series. And they're all based in the Pacific Northwest, which is home to me now. And so listening to it, oh yeah, I know where that is, or I can picture that in my mind. And it just made me feel like I was home. And then another cool part about it is through all the 21 books, there are characters that are interwoven in all of the different books. A lot of the same, one book will be fixated on certain characters, but then they'll show up again in book 5 of that series. So just really, really enjoyed those. And they're really easy listening. They're not very literary. They're very well written, but they're just easy to digest. And they're crime fighters.
Back to the crime.
I think we see a pattern here.
Maybe you need to switch jobs and forensic whatever pathologist or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I do. I breezed through all the CSI. I mean, I can tell you all of them.
Wow.
So,
do you watch 911?
no.
It's not deep enough. It's too basic. Amy, when you read, you mostly you like the book in your hands, or you like Kindle, or you like audiobooks?
Believe it or not, I will listen to one book, Kindle another book, and I still love a physical book.
Okay.
So I usually have 3 of them going on at once.
Wow.
That's impressive.
So, and every time I start, it takes me a minute to get back into it, but it's just whatever is convenient at the time.
Okay.
I love to read physical books. I just don't have the time that I would like to do that. So I try and keep, at least one of each going on. So
you ladies are amazing because you can multitask so well. And it's like you have to multitask because like my wife says, she's got too many things to do to just like sit down and do one thing. She's got to be able to do 2 or 3 things at a time.
Yeah.
Kudos to y'all. All right, let's see. Amy's turn, right? Or because I asked, any additional things you've been listening to lately, or?
Another band that I like, and we got to see them. They actually came to Sundance this last year, and so we went and saw them. It is a DJ. His name is Paul Oakenfold.
Yes.
He's from. Do you know him?
From Ireland.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He when I listen to U2X Radio, he has a show on their channel.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, and he remixes U2 songs and.
Yes.
I think other songs too, but mostly.
Yeah, he does a lot of So I really like him. I think he's very, very creative. Yeah. So
when you see a concert like that, they're just playing songs. It's like a big rave or something.
It is actually. They just did it at a play. It was on Main Street in Park City. They do have a concert venue there. Okay. But it was him and a couple other guys. But he was the main guy that But he just did a free show for like Park City residents. So it was It was really fun. It's just,
Oh, that's cool.
So
he has a kind of a cool accent, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard of them.
There we go. Woohoo!
Look at that.
I'm glad.
Yeah. All right, Chelle, back to you.
Okay. So I think I've told both of you this separately, but The Moth, my all-time favorite podcast. And I just recently got to go to one live. They have their storytelling competitions. Okay. And this was called a story slam. So you put your name in the hat and there's a topic. And if you get your name drawn, you go up and do a little 5-minute story that hopefully is applicable to the theme. And then if you win a slam, you go on to a grand slam. So it was really fun to see it in person. I've been listening to them for years and years and years and years. And one of my favorite things about them is when they end their podcast, they say, I hope you have a story-worthy week. And I love that. I love that.
Did you get chosen?
Oh, no, I didn't put my name in there. Are you crazy?
Next time.
I don't know if I could. I mean, I can tell a story and I can make a story this long last this long, but I don't think I could do it up on a stage.
No. So when a podcast that you listen to, these story podcasts, do they usually run a certain length of time, or some of them are still ongoing?
Yeah, ones that are like 20 to 30 minutes long. And then on the alternating week, they're about an hour, which is great because I listen a lot. So I need something to keep me occupied for a little bit of time.
If a podcast is 2 hours per episode, is that too long?
No, you can
give me grace. I think it's just getting longer and longer each episode. But, oh well, we have so many stories to tell and so much to catch up on. So
I know it's been a long time to catch up on.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny how we all remember things differently. Same scenario, but different memory of them.
Right. Yep. That's just. Someone was asking today about Brett and his pencils, and I remember that happening specifically, but I remember it happened vaguely. So, but anyway, any other information you want to share with us or the world before?
I was going to say there is one podcast that my son got me hooked on to, and it's and Chelle, I don't know if you've ever listened to it, but it's called If Books Could Kill.
Ooh.
But it's actually it's not a crime one. Sorry.
It sounds like it.
I know. It's one where they take a lot of books and just basically rip them apart. But it's interesting and fascinating because some of them are like really popular books and they just kind of go in and kind of debunk the whole thing. So I think it's interesting. I don't know. I think the guys on it are hilarious anyway, but it's fun to listen to.
Awesome.
Okay.
So
Books to Kill. She got really excited. She thought it was.
I know.
Before I forget.
Any last things you want to share with us, Chelle?
Yeah, I went to a concert in December of last year. My cousin come down from Salt Lake, and it was Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks, which is a funny combination, but it worked. It was really fun. But the best part was like they're up singing, they're up at the mic, and there's a massive Megatron screen, and they look fantastic. And they'd finish their song, and they'd walk away from the mic, and they were hobbling like little people.
They're 80s, right? Or late 70s?
70s, yeah.
Oh my, yeah.
And then like close up of Billy Joel's hands playing the piano, like it was incredible. But he looks like he has little frog hands, like little balls on the end of his fingers, just from playing the piano for
all of his life, pretty much. Yeah.
Every single day for hours and hours and hours and hours. That was really fun. And it was fun because it was middle of December. It was at Chase Field. They have a retractable roof, but it was open. So we're sitting out underneath the stars, middle of December, very, very comfortable. So that was a lot of fun. And I don't get to see that cousin very often. So it was fun to have her and her husband here for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, I went to a concert recently with my wife. It was more for her than me, but it was Debbie Gibson.
Fun.
Did you like Debbie Gibson?
Not really. No.
I didn't either, but my wife did. So we went, and poor thing, she was, doing her best, but she still looked pretty good for her age. But yeah, all the people that we like that are still coming around and touring they're getting old, poor things. But Mick Jagger can still move for an old guy.
Yeah.
He's in his 80s and he still can get up and strut around the stage. And so
it really is amazing that their voices can still do that.
Did you watch the Bon Jovi documentary? He's got a lot of voice problems.
Yeah.
So Shania Twain too. Yeah.
Like her. at all anymore.
Well,
Crazy.
cool. I appreciate you joining.
It was fun.
We will see you guys on your episodes. Rochelle's will be coming out not too far in the future, and Amy, I'm excited to record yours.
Yeah.
Here in a couple weeks. So
Yeah, that'll be fun.
And then it'll come out probably in February or April.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do to get them out faster, but
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to say goodnight, and we'll catch up again soon.
Okay, thanks for this happen. It was fun.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you.
Bye.